Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
Health officials from surrounding counties ask for a mask mandate to help keep hospitalizations under control. I'm Kate Kelly with details just ahead.
Hospitalizations are on the rise across the country as nearly every state sees record numbers of new cases of the coronavirus. I'm Garrett Tenney in Lansing, Michigan with the details coming up.
Hey Kelly, as weather, Jacob Leonard has sports tonight. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Mercy Hospital in Joplin right now has more than 50 patients with COVID-19. 16 of them are on ventilators. It's the second highest caseload they've seen since this pandemic began. Now Mercy, Freeman Health System, and other health leaders are asking for city leaders to step up with a mask mandate to help get things back under control.
The hospitals in Joplin, both Mercy and Freeman, are becoming increasingly concerned as more COVID patients enter their units, pushing them to capacity and beyond ahead of flu season, colder weather, and the holidays.
In a free country, we get to make our own decisions, but we also get to pay for the consequences of our decisions. And those consequences to this point are really straining the healthcare system.
Last week, Tulsa had no ICU beds to be able to take transferred patients, and so all the regional facilities that we would send patients to are really struggling with capacity issues of their own, so that's a big concern.
Both Freeman and Mercy officials agree that a mask mandate would help curb the number of hospitalizations they're experiencing. Dr. McNabb says that at any given time, at least 30% of Freeman's patients are battling COVID.
I can report today with no mask mandate that we're now losing slightly over 1 citizen per day. So that's about 30 plus patients per month, which represents, guys, a 7-fold increase from the time that we dropped the mandate. It's gone up by 7 times.
The coronavirus is highly more contagious than the flu, but it also we cannot spread it if we wear masks, if we do the social distancing. So we can control whether we continue to do the spreading or not, and that's why we're asking for our community's help.
Health Department Director Tony Moore also signed the letter sent to city officials across Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, Carthage, Neosho, and all of Jasper and Newton counties. He says a mask mandate can't come soon enough.
It would be great if it went into effect last week, but obviously that didn't happen. And you know, it's difficult in a lot of instances for a whole region to develop mask mandates. Some of the states around us have done statewide mask mandates. It would be nice if in the state of Missouri, maybe the governor would make some sort of a mandate that at least gave guidance that, you know, this is what people should be doing.
In Jasper County, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Joplin Mayor Ryan Stanley says that once he's had a discussion with the leadership of both Jasper and Newton counties, he's going to update Joplin City Council and discuss how to proceed. The mayors of Carthage, Carl Junction, and Webb City said in a joint statement they encourage people to wear masks. The renewed call for a mask mandate is getting reaction from both sides of the argument. We asked some area residents for their views.
Very much in support of a mask mandate. I feel like it does offer protection to everybody that's out in public, both to the wearer and to others in the public that you might encounter.
I don't think it should be mandated. I don't think we've got enough rules as it is, and to have something placed out there that I don't think is fair.
In tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll, we are asking, would you support a mask mandate in your community? Whether it be Joplin, Carl Junction, wherever, Galena, Kansas, Pittsburgh. You can vote on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, or use our app on your mobile devices. Results update instantly on our broadcast. We're going to check back in on those results periodically during tonight's show. Jasper County Health Department is reporting 5 more deaths attributed to COVID-19. They were 4 males, 1 each in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Also a female in her 60s. This brings the total number of Jasper County COVID-19 deaths to 69. Joplin reports its cases and deaths separately from Jasper and Newton counties. That city is reporting its 54th COVID-19 related death. This person was a 90-year-old female and a resident in a long-term care facility. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt yesterday announced new restrictions in the state because of this pandemic, and we wanted to know what residents thought. One of the new restrictions is the requirement of masks in state buildings. Also, bars and restaurants must have tables spaced at least 6 feet apart and close in-person service at 11 p.m. An official with an area restaurant says they've already been doing these CDC guidelines, following them anyway, so these new restrictions won't change much.
We continue to follow the CDC guidelines, bleaching the tables, all the condiments. We've been following all that, wearing gloves while we prep food and everything. So we'll just keep continuing on and following the new restrictions.
Governor Stitt also said he wants all public schools to return to in-person learning after Christmas break. Nick Kelly joining us now with our first look at weather. Another day of awesome sunshine. It was so good to feel that.
I know, it's just nice if we can keep things going. But at the very least, as you hit the nail on the head, we certainly hit that mark once again today. After starting cold at 33, back to 66, double the number that we started out this morning with. Thanks to mostly sunny skies we saw all day. No immediate storm systems working in, but our next system has worked into the western U.S. Thankfully, it's got a few more days before it gets here. In the meantime, it's getting chilly fast. Most of us sitting in the lower to middle 50s right now. Quick look at the day ahead of us. Finally, staying out of the cold for tomorrow morning, but still cool with overnight lows near 44, and then back into the upper 60s thanks to a strong south wind throughout the day tomorrow. We'll break down when we'll see rain chances back in here coming up in a bit, Jordan.
Nick, thank you. As Thanksgiving quickly approaches, many are concerned about gathering during this pandemic. KOAM's Caitlin Shive shares with us some tips from an etiquette expert on how to approach and handle changes to Thanksgiving Day plans this year.
Thanksgiving has been a huge holiday for Elizabeth Tinknell's family for the past 50 years.
Our Thanksgiving is never just a one-day Thanksgiving. It was a week because we'd have house guests and we'd have dinner guests. And so we've done this for long, and it was our big family holiday.
But this year they have made the decision to cancel their Thanksgiving gathering because of the pandemic.
Between children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, probably 6 different households that would be represented, and there was just too much risk involved.
She says communicating this decision was quite easy with her family as they were all open about their concerns.
It was difficult for each of us to tell the others that we needed to do it. I think individually we all knew it, and that's probably what made it easier, because I didn't have anybody say, "But Grandma."
But it may not be easy for some. Etiquette expert Valerie Sokolowski gave some advice on how to handle changes to Thanksgiving plans this year, whether you are hosting a gathering.
The hostess needs to remember that she's the hostess, and she can very easily and graciously set the ground rules, even if it's family, and particularly if it's any other than family.
But also what to do if you have concerns as a guest.
To call or send an email to the hostess and say, I'm very sensitive to what the ground rules may be. I want to be appropriate in how I show up so that we can all enjoy this beautiful meal you have planned. So please tell me what to expect.
Sticking with 5 simple rules to enjoy the holiday during unprecedented times.
Stay gracious, have a good attitude, be respectful, and do everything you can within yourself to not take things personally and to show up with a strong presence.
Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
For more tips and suggestions from the CDC, just go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. States across the country are enforcing new coronavirus restrictions. This as a new surge of cases intensifies. Meanwhile, 2 major vaccine manufacturers are making plans for distribution. Fox News correspondent Garrett Tenney has more.
A fall surge of the coronavirus isn't slowing down as we see roughly 100,000 new infections per day. In the past week, 1 million new cases were added to the nationwide total. Hospitalizations have reached an average of 3,500 per day, with states such as North Dakota and Wisconsin facing reduced hospital capacity and staff shortages.
It's hard to maintain the morale of the staff and to stay positive and strong. We all try.
Officials from California to Pennsylvania are shutting down indoor dining and enforcing curfews in an attempt to slow the spread. But some business owners say another shutdown could be devastating.
It's crippling. And 9 p.m., the virus doesn't come out at 9 p.m. It doesn't have a time frame.
It's going to be a lot of employees out of work, a lot of restaurants closing down.
A lot of hope is riding on a vaccine, but questions still remain how Pfizer's candidate will be transported, since it must be kept at extremely cold temperatures. The company has developed deep freeze containers to hold the shipments, but they only hold cool temperatures for 10 days, causing some hospitals to race to secure ultra cold freezers, costing roughly $20,000 apiece.
The biggest problem is the wait list now. Our doctors' offices are having to wait anywhere between a month and 3 months to get these freezers because they're in such high demand.
Both Moderna and Pfizer are planning to seek emergency use authorizations for their vaccines in the coming weeks. In Lansing, Michigan, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. George Geiger served in the U.S. Army from 1944 to 46. Native of Erwin, Missouri, Geiger was in the South Philippines. He earned several awards. We are very proud to thank Sergeant George Geiger. He is tonight's 4 state hero. Nick Kelly is up next with a complete look at the forecast. And a bit later in sports, the Galena softball standout signing to continue her career at Division I Auburn University.
And we're stuck on repeat, our weather pattern that is. After we had yet another cold start, we saw temperatures bounce back up no problem, thanks to mostly sunny skies and a light southeast breeze that we had all day long, not just over Indigo Sky outside of Seneca, Missouri, but all across the area. And that did have an impact on temperatures again. In fact, they were actually fairly similar to what we experienced yesterday. Middle 30s for lows, mid to upper 60s for highs yesterday. And then we started in the lower to middle 30s this morning before we bounced back up to about 65, 66 on average across much of the area. Still looking okay up top all across Joplin with the numbers showing us at a chilly point in the evening. 53 degrees with the southeast breeze, if I can say that correctly, at 9 miles per hour. But that breeze is starting to pick up as we go throughout the course of the night, and that is going to help us out with temperatures as we head into tomorrow morning. Right now, though, we're at 50 in Pittsburgh, 55 in Seneca, 57 in Neosho. A few outlying areas have already snuck back into the upper 40s. In general, though, the vast majority of you are still hanging on to temperatures in the lower to middle 50s. That being said, we had a good warm-up throughout the course of the day with that light southeast breeze at 5 to 10. But now the corridor of stronger south winds across central Kansas, it's moving on top of us now. And as that wind picks up throughout the night, thankfully we'll stay out of the cold. But it's still going to be a cool night with overnight lows dropping off to about 44. And then that strong south wind will push us back near 70 for afternoon highs as we go into Wednesday. We do not have still a single thing going on here on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. High pressure over the Ohio River Valley. That's going to continue to slide off toward the east. No immediate systems in the central plains, but our next front's working through the western U.S. now, and that is going to be the next front to bring in rain chances back to the area. Until we can get that upper low out of the Gulf of Alaska to get here, though, we are going to keep the upper ridge in control as we continue on for the next few days. We will keep things quiet, mostly clear for the rest of the night. And thankfully, that south wind picking up means we only drop back into the 40s for overnight lows. I think most of us right around 44 and mostly sunny up top and at the surface. A south wind at 10 to 20, gusts near 30 during the afternoon, pushes us into the mid-60s by noon. I see Joplin topping out at 69. Everyone, though, is fair game to go into the upper 60s and lower 70s for your afternoon highs tomorrow. So hard to come by those numbers for November, but we'll take it because this setup's not going to last long. That ridge starts to slide out toward the east on Thursday. We'll still stay in the lower 70s. Then the focus is on that next system out west. Doesn't look impressive at first glimpse on Friday, but we can see the front trying to fire off some showers in our northern counties on Friday afternoon, but the better rain chances will start to line up as we go into Saturday and Sunday. 69 tomorrow. Let's go 72 on Thursday, dropping back near 70. Still mild, even though the rain chances start to pick up on Friday. Rain chances aplenty for Saturday and Sunday. On the backside of that, turning chilly as we kick off Thanksgiving week, Jordan.
Yeah, for the time being, though, I still can't get over 70s during November.
And we better enjoy it because we know they're not going to last long.
Yeah, Kel, see you in a little bit. Thank you. Coming up, preparing for a new administration.
President-elect Joe Biden continues to move forward with his transition. I'm Ray Bogan with a look at the newly announced members of his administration coming up.
As President Trump continues his legal fight over the 2020 election results, President-elect Joe Biden is getting down to business, naming members of his incoming administration and making plans for what he wants to do when he gets into office. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has more.
Joe Biden met with diplomatic, defense, and intelligence experts this afternoon. It's a do-it-yourself approach for a president-elect who does not yet have access to classified briefings. Until the incoming administration is made official in the eyes of the federal government, Democrats are counting down the days to Biden's inauguration.
The long national nightmare is about to come to an end on January 20th at noon, because the most existential threat to our democracy, our values, our American way of life has been defeated decisively.
The Biden transition team named key members to the incoming administration. Campaign manager Jen O'Malley Dillon will be deputy chief of staff. Louisiana Congressman Cedric Richmond will serve as senior advisor and director of the White House Office of Public Engagement.
The fact that we're not having an orderly transition, and you saw the vice president say this yesterday, could cost lives. And that, I think, would be sinful and a tragedy.
Republicans have been less blunt, but many also say they want a transition plan in place.
If you try to advance anything without letting the process work itself out, you risk the thing that Biden says he's most interested in, and that's unifying the country.
And we're going to have an orderly transfer from this administration to the next one.
Biden has released a list of executive actions he says he'll take on his first day in office. Now he's calling on Congress to take immediate action to forgive $10,000 in student loan debt for borrowers. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Okay, in tonight's KOAM News Now Insta poll, we are asking you, would you support a mask mandate in your community? You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or on the KOAM News Now mobile app. Here are some results so far. As you can see, the majority of you say, yes, I would support a mask mandate. Again, you can vote on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or on your mobile device. Pretty simple. Just ahead, the continued debate over the role of social media.
The heads of Facebook and Twitter testifying before lawmakers who grilled both executives on their role in the 2020 election. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with more on why they pledged to change coming up.
In the aftermath since Election Day, the executives from both Facebook and Twitter were called to testify before Congress. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisles had questions for both companies about their roles throughout the election process. Fox News Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel is over in D.C. with the latest on what lawmakers asked.
We want to provide context here. That is our goal. Providing more context, providing more information.
Out of the gate, both the heads of Facebook and Twitter testified their social media platforms can and will do things better.
We will make some mistakes.
And that lessons were learned throughout the 2020 election.
The challenges that we face are deeper than any one platform.
Tuesday's hearing focused on censorship and bias, including allegations of election interference by both platforms.
In my view, you need to do better.
You have used this power to run amok.
There's no Walter Cronkite. They will shoot with them straight. And so I know it's a very difficult thing to manage.
Republicans criticized the platforms for so-called censorship of conservative views, including Twitter's decision to restrict the spread of reports about Hunter Biden.
You do realize that by taking down that story, you probably gave it more prominence and more visibility than it ever would have gotten had you left it alone.
We realize that, and we recognize it as a mistake.
Meantime, Democrats argue the platforms fail to adequately police the spread of misinformation.
Like Trump's claims about the election.
Senator, I'm very worried about this, especially any misinformation or content that could incite violence.
The backdrop to today's hearing has been debate over whether to revoke or reform Section 230 of the 1996 Communications Decency Act. With it, internet platforms currently have liability protections from third-party users posting content. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
So police say pizza was too much of a distraction for a thief who took time away from that crime to make that pie. Gonna learn more when we come back. Police say a man broke into a pizza shop to steal some cash and then stopped in the middle of this thing to make himself a pizza slice. Because, you know, he was hungry. Happened at Big Slice Pizza over in Fullerton, California. Police say the man broke into the shop, slipped on some gloves, And started, as we're seeing, kneading dough to make himself a pizza pie. While it baked in the oven, did he do what you or I would have done? First of all, we wouldn't have broken into the place, but while the pizza's baking, did he do, what you or I would have done? Did he sit in a chair, drink some Coke, watch the football game? No. He allegedly emptied the cash register and swiped several tablets. Then, after his food was done, he picked it all up, fled the scene in the shop's delivery truck. Officers eventually caught up with him. A few days later, he's now in police custody, facing several charges, including grand theft auto, second-degree burglary. There's no word yet on how much dough he got away with. Money or type of dough you eat. Sorry, I'm a dad. That's a dad joke. I'm sorry. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Missouri legislators are working to extend liability protections for places like hospitals. I'm Zach Dodge with the details.
Also seems like election season all over again in Georgia, the state of Georgia, where voters will play another role in a Senate runoff. Missouri lawmakers consider legislation that would provide protections against lawsuits for places like hospitals, businesses, and schools during this pandemic. KOAM's Zach Dodge has details on what expanded liability protection would look like.
Earlier this month, Governor Parson expanded a special session to include discussions on liability protections. Co-sponsor Senator Bill White says it's to keep businesses and hospitals that are stepping up during the pandemic from facing frivolous lawsuits. The legislation that's being discussed would provide liability protections for healthcare providers working with new drugs and treatments to fight the disease, protect manufacturers and businesses that are making things like PPE when they didn't before, and protect schools and churches from lawsuits if someone catches the virus when they're there, as long as the organization is following safety protocols.
You don't want your healthcare person saying, I'm not going to treat you because I might get sued. Because what I'm treating you with, this drug may come out in 2 months that this drug wasn't worthwhile.
But some, like personal injury attorney Scott Voorhees, don't think it's a good idea.
Our Constitution, both the United States and the state Constitution, guarantee a right to a jury trial, and what they're trying to do is take away that right, even when no protection is being offered to people.
He says there's already procedures in place to deal with frivolous lawsuits, so extending protections would keep meritorious suits from going forward.
This is another example of nursing homes, healthcare providers, insurance companies trying to protect themselves and their profits at the expense of innocent people. Because it's not a choice between is there going to be harm or not, okay? The question is, if somebody's at fault, start there. If they're a wrongdoer, are they going to pay for the harms they caused?
There's not protection for the really bad actor out there, the one who intentionally is doing something really bad.
The special session had to be paused due to COVID cases at the Capitol, but should resume after Thanksgiving. Senator White says if it doesn't pass then, he is ready to propose a bill that offers similar protections. Reporting in Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Senator White says if the bill is passed, it would take effect each time the governor declares a state of emergency. Upcoming holiday celebrations are going to be different this year, of course, but still important, right? Of course. Even more important to check up on people who are going to be alone at home. This year, the Carthage Crisis Center will prepare 300 boxed meals for Thanksgiving and deliver them, of course. Everyone is going to enjoy a 5-course meal and a small gift from the Crisis Center. Negative ads are blanketing the airwaves again in Georgia, where the 2 state runoffs, Senate runoffs there in early January, will decide the balance of power in the Senate for the next 2 years. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary is over in Atlanta with what Georgians are seeing and hearing.
Thank you. Armed with opposition research, the GOP is trying to block Democrats from regaining control of the Senate. In a $1 million ad buy, Senator Kelly Loeffler attempts to link her Democratic opponent to radical anti-American elements.
Raphael Warnock called police thugs, gangsters, hosted a rally for communist dictator Fidel Castro.
Reverend Warnock says he was a youth pastor at the New York church that hosted Castro in 1995 and had nothing to do with planning the visit. Now pastor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic church in Atlanta, Warnock says he's about bringing Americans together.
I'm proud of my country, and what makes me love America is that
in spite of whatever challenges we have, there's always the path to redress our concerns, to make the country better.
Warnock is campaigning with fellow Democrat Jon Ossoff, who's challenging Georgia's other Republican Senator David Perdue. If Democrats win both seats, they gain a voting majority in the Senate.
And that's why it's so important to win these two Senate races so that the incoming presidential administration can govern, can lead, can enact the solutions necessary to contain this virus and invest in economic recovery.
But Perdue says Georgia's Republican senators are the last line of defense against a liberal socialist agenda.
We heard Schumer just last week say that if we take Georgia, we change America. We heard AOC say they have to have these two seats because they don't want to negotiate. They want total control.
Senator Perdue has declined an invitation to debate Ossoff ahead of the January 5th runoff. The Atlanta Press Club says it will proceed with the December 6th debate and, according to policy, represent Perdue with an empty podium. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
In tonight's KOAM News Now is poll question. We asked you, would you support a mask mandate in your community? Here are the results so far. 76% of you say yes, I would. Now, if you haven't had time to vote, there is still time. You can vote at our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, or use our app on your mobile devices. The final results are going to be shown on our sister station, KOAM News at 10. A bit later, Amazon expanding its portfolio even more.
Amazon launching its newest delivery item, and here's a hint. It could be extremely helpful during the pandemic. I'm Jackie DeAngelis in New York. I'll tell you what it is coming up.
We kept things nice and quiet again, and with a light southeast breeze that took us from a cold start this morning in the lower to middle 30s back into the mid and even upper 60s for some. There was the plentiful sunshine once again from start to finish. Right until sunset there from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. We still look okay up top with clear skies over Joplin, but we got chilly fast after hitting our highs in the mid 60s today. 53 now in Joplin with the southeast wind at 9 miles per hour. The temperatures around the rest of the metro have cooled off quite a bit as well. In fact, we're already pushing near 49 in Pittsburgh, while we're still holding on to 55 in Baxter, 53 in Oronogo, Webb City, while we have a pair of 51s for Diamond and Neosho. Outlying areas are already back into the middle to upper 40s, while areas in northeast Oklahoma are still trying to hold on to the lower 50s. We saw the temperatures warm up easily today because of that southeast breeze light at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But during the day, we had a good corridor south wind, stronger south winds out across central Kansas, and those wind speeds are coming up on top of us, and that's going to help us out with temperatures this time. Instead of going back into the cold, we'll only drop back into the mid 40s around the Joplin area for tomorrow morning before we go back near 70. We're certainly a mild and a windy Wednesday lined up for us. Nothing going on again on the Skywatch storm tracker here. High pressure, it's off to the east along the Ohio River Valley, but around the flow of the high, that's what's keeping that south wind in place for tonight. Not to mention, our next storm system already helping get that south wind back into gear for tomorrow. The warm front lifts through just to the north and west, but this cold front will start working in as we head toward the weekend with rain chances to go along with it. Until we can get this upper low out of the Gulf of Alaska to help push that front through, we'll hold on to the influence of the upper level ridge, keeping us mild and dry once again for a few more days. Keeping things quiet tonight, no surprise here, because we've been keeping it nice and quiet for the past few nights. Unlike the past few nights, though, again, that south wind picking up only means temperatures dropping back into the mid 40s for tomorrow morning. Most of us right around 44. Mostly sunny again up top throughout the course of your Wednesday, but that south wind, it's going to pick up at 10 to 20 and even some gusts near 30 miles per hour. That will certainly push us into the mid 60s by noon and afternoon highs around 69. Everybody outside of Joplin, though, fair game to go upper 60s to lower 70s for afternoon highs tomorrow. That upper ridge starts to slide off to the southeast. As long as we're still on the warm side of the jet, though, we're going to keep mild with highs in the lower 70s on Thursday. Then here comes that next upper level low, really kicking out with that next cold front on the way. It could bring in rain chances as early as Friday afternoon, but I'm seeing the better rain chances working through here Saturday and Sunday as we go through the course of the weekend. As far as potential rain amounts, we could stand to get a good decent amount of rain with this next system on the way, rather. Maybe 1 to 2, possibly 3 inches of rain before we see a little break on Monday and maybe another shot for a few showers by Tuesday. 69, mostly sunny tomorrow, staying quiet on Thursday with highs around 72. Mild to start the weekend, Jordan, but as the rain chances kick in, it will turn chilly for Sunday and on Monday.
Before you know it, those rain showers that you got on the map there are going to be snow showers and snow, and
we're definitely hoping for that. At least I'm hoping for that.
Yeah. At least no ice.
No, that I don't want.
Nick Kelly,
nobody wants that.
Coming up in sports, a Galena High School senior signing to continue her softball career in the SEC. Plus, Carthage standout is headed to Pitt State to continue his baseball career with the Gorillas. Sports director Jacob Leonard has details next.
Get up.
Well, today is a big day for Galena High School senior Riley McNeamer. McNeamer signed this afternoon to continue her softball career at Division I Auburn University in Alabama. Riley McNeamer is making the jump from the CNC to the SEC.
I am ready. I have been ready for 4 years now, so I think that it will be a very big jump, but I think I'm ready for it.
She's always in the cages getting extra reps, playing all year round. I mean, she's well prepared for SEC softball.
McNeamer signed Tuesday afternoon to continue her softball career at Auburn University. She's part of an Auburn recruiting class that's ranked one of the best recruiting classes in the country.
I do feel a little pressure, but I also feel a little bit of confidence because I'm a part of that. I know that I contribute a lot to that.
McNeamer will play second base for the Tigers.
As a softball player, I mean, she's a coach's dream. I mean, powerful offensively and defensively, can play all over the field for us. Primarily plays shortstop for us, but like I said, she can play anywhere.
She's a two-time All-State selection, but missed her junior season last spring due to COVID-19.
High school ball really is just an escape. Like, I love my teammates, I love the team, it's so much fun. And not being able to do that and having to sit at home, not seeing any of them, not practicing, it was really tough.
With this part of the process behind her, McNeamer now turns her attention to her senior season, which she wants to finish the right way.
I want to get a state championship. I mean, we have the potential to go to state. We have the potential to win state. We just need to do it.
While McNeamer signed today, she's actually been committed to Auburn since 2017. To Carthage High School now, senior Caden Kralichek also signing his letter of intent today. Kralichek is crossing the state line, playing for Pittsburgh State next season. He will play middle infield for Bob Fornelli and the Gorillas.
I'm just excited to just keep playing baseball. I always grew up playing it, and ever since I could hold a baseball, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I feel like I'm going to go in as an infield, but I'm just going to go in and work hard, and if they need me anywhere else, that's where I'll be.
At Baxter Springs High School, 4 signed this afternoon. Allie Fry there joining the softball program at Fort Scott Community College. All-State player Riley Bush signed today to play at Cowley County. Then these last two, they're going to stay teammates. Zach Beeler and Brandon Kelly signed today to play at Ottawa University. Wichita State men's basketball head coach Greg Marshall has resigned as the leader of the program. His resignation comes after an internal investigation into allegations of physical and verbal abuse of players and assistant coaches. Marshall is the winningest coach in Wichita State history. He led the Shockers to 8 NCAA tournament appearances, including making the Final Four in 2013. Marshall said in a statement today, quote, "This was a difficult decision, but one I feel was necessary for my family, the university, and the student athletes." That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Amazon has a history of disrupting industries, starting with book sales when the company started back in 1995, and it didn't stop there. Everything from supermarkets to shipping have been changed by the online retailer, and now its millions of loyal shoppers have access to an entire new industry. Fox Business correspondent Jackie DeAngelis explains.
Introducing Amazon Pharmacy. Now you can get your meds delivered just like everything else.
Online retail giant Amazon opening its online pharmacy Tuesday, allowing customers to get new prescriptions or refills dropped at their door in days. Amazon's pharmacy offering a variety of commonly prescribed medications, including creams, pills, and even refrigerated drugs like insulin. Customers will need to create a profile and have their doctors send the prescriptions right to Amazon. Most insurance will be accepted. If you're uninsured and a Prime member, you can still get a discount on both generic and name brand drugs, but some analysts say this venture could be an uphill climb for Amazon.
Even with delivery, you see significant in-store pickup of prescriptions because people want control. They want to know that they're going to get their medication when they need it.
But its impact immediately felt, sending stocks for major pharmaceutical retailers, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid, tumbling on Tuesday. This comes at a time when the pandemic is forcing more and more consumers to stay home. Drugstores across the country have been trying to adjust by offering curbside pickup and same-day deliveries in many markets. And Walgreens has partnered with FedEx to aid its delivery service.
So you not only have to build a compelling model, you have to entice people to switch.
While Amazon Pharmacy offers a variety of drugs, the company says they won't ship opioids or any other drugs with a high risk of being abused. In New York, Jackie DeAngelis, Fox News.
Singer Josh Groban talking Christmas 2020 and a virtual concert. Gonna hear from him when we come back. Josh Groban is sharing new music from home and inviting audiences to virtual concerts, including his first holiday show. We caught up with a global superstar to talk all about it.
Josh Groban's Harmony features covers of classics plus originals written from home during the pandemic.
All I had at my disposal at that time was a piano and a microphone and a lot of inner voices, as we all have.
Groban says as an artist, music is how he can express himself and bring positivity.
That's what these songs were about for me. It was writing about that hope, writing about that togetherness that I felt we could all get through.
They pivoted to record the album remotely.
I'm in my bedroom right now. This is just, I've got a piano right here. I've got a mic right there. You know, I put these things on and I send it out.
Josh adds connecting collaborators this way reflects the album's title, Harmony.
I can think of no brighter way to shine on what's positive about it right now than the fact that we were able to connect all this musicianship all around the world.
Next, he'll bring his powerful vocals to virtual live-streamed concerts with one Thanksgiving Day for the album and his first holiday concert December 19th.
There are so many countless people in America and around the world that this is going to be a hard holiday, I think, in a lot of ways. And so to have a show that could incorporate that music that I've grown up with and have loved so much, and to do it for the first time at a time when people will need to gather in ways that are virtual, you know, a lot of times this year. It holds a deeper meaning for me.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of a flock of flamingos migrating over a lake in Kazakhstan. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.